Hello, I'm Lottie. I am Arcane Scenery's Girl Friday, which mostly only means that I work on Friday, not that I'm stranded on a desert island. Um, I work for Arcane Scenery and I have almost never made a model. My challenge from the boss man, Steve, is to make this, which is the Russian KV Big Turret Tank by Hobby Boss. So here we have the instructions, which actually aren't as terrifying as I thought they might be. They're no worse than IKEA anyway. What we got? Drive sprockets, road wheels, support rollers, things that you might like to note that are not clear in instructions, for we are on step 1 now, which is the assembling of the flappy bit there and the bit with some holes in. It looks sort of like a latrine in Roman times, I think. Goes on back there. I presume it isn't a Roman latrine. Is that it has little numbers here, and it says N2 and R15, as well as saying lower hull, sand smooth, both side. I don't know. It's these wretched numbers. Anyway, right, you look at this thing, and there are seemingly absolutely no means of identifying any of these things. It is quite like the assembling of a bookcase in lots of ways, where you open the packet, it shows you some drawings of some things that look like torpedoes and things that sort of look like screws, but things that also look like screws, and you spend 20 minutes trying to work out which bits are which. These are actually numbered. Finding the numbers is the fun part. It is on the obverse, I think you say, a little tiny in the top. I don't know how good my camera is, so that's a letter P just there, and just there and even tinier there is a number 1, so that is a P1. Other thing that I got from Steve in his brief how to assemble things lesson is to do the dry run. So I have to A, make sure I've got the right part and it goes on, and B, see how it goes on, see whether it needs any bits sliding down or anything, and see how it sits. And it sits like that before I start doing things. But I do, it seems, even little old me can identify that it's not going quite in, so I'm going to have to find something to sand it with. Here we go, on to the gluing. Let's check it still fits and I've not taken off so much that it doesn't fit anymore. And in fact it properly fits now. And there it is, it's going to go like that. This is glue. I have been issued with the instruction of less is more. Yeah. And that I only need to put the lightest little amount on, otherwise I'm going to end up with lots of gunk everywhere, which kind of makes sense. Right, I have got, thus far, it looks like a slightly sinister insect of some kind. Right, things I have discovered so far. The little spinny things. They clip in quite neatly. I've put some glue in there as well because they don't clip in there and stay in there. They have these little hexagonal bits so that they can only go in certain directions. I've assumed that the picture literally meant the direction they wanted in. I did take things quite literally, so I'm going to assume that they meant it quite literally. And these little things, which I guess are for wheels to go on. I don't actually know how they construct real tanks, but you know, if they do the caterpillar tread, anything like you do this caterpillar tread, I have intense sympathy for the people who work at whoever makes tanks these days. Basically you have to use this little plastic thing and then slide things up onto it and not lose them, and this is generally quite horrible, and get them to stick on and balance it all at once, because I haven't got anything that I can balance it on. I presume people who do this quite a lot have some kind of gripping thing, and it stays on, but I don't, so I'm gonna have some monkey tank threads. Ta-da! We have caterpillar threads. It kind of looks like a tank. I apologise for any background noise of aeroplanes and trains and things. This is because of this, which I will explain in a minute. Learning that I have made these jig things. It shows them on the picture for making the thread on. It shows you putting them together. It doesn't say don't glue them, so I glued them together. Evidently you're not supposed to, because you need to yank them apart to get the caterpillar thread off them. So don't glue them. Yeah, the glue. Yesterday when Steve sent me off with glue and tank and all the stuff, he said one of the things that he really likes about making models is the glue, the smell of the glue, because it smells like pear drops. I can only conclude that in the south of England you have some very different pear drops from what we have up here. This smells disgusting. I have a headache. I've had to open the window. I have intermittent train noises going past. It's horrible. So, ew. I present to you empty sprues. I have to be honest here, not all my sprues are empty. I have this little bit here. I have a circle, and I have this little bit here, and I have these little bits here. I have been through the instructions 4 times now, and I cannot find a mention of any of those. And I have a tank! I'm just waiting for the glue to dry so that I can just attach the end of the cable on here. I'm supposed to cut this cable in half and use it for the both of them, but it's actually not long enough to reach and keep those wretched things on there. I didn't think it was a cable at first, I just thought it was a free string. So anyway, it's finished in that context in terms of being made. The next bit is to paint it, which we're going to do in the office.